Drunk I Love You is directed by JP Habak, written by him and Giancarlo Abrahan, and stars Maja Salvador, Paula Avellino, Dominic Rocco, and Jasmine Curtis Smith. And I'm Drunk I Love You sees Carson and Dio, played by Maja Salvador and Paula Avellino respectively, going on one last road trip to La Union before they graduate college, and Carson has to decide if she'll finally tell Dio about the feelings she's had for him over the past 7 years. Now, in all honesty, I was actually really skeptical about this movie going in to watch it, because to me it seemed like another indie romantic comedy cashing in on the trend of having these rom-coms set in like exotic locales around the Philippines. After seeing it though, I can say that I really love this movie. It, compared to other local rom-coms we've gotten, feels just so much fresher. It's dramatically a little bit obvious in certain spots, and not everything completely works out in the end. However, it is incredibly well acted, and like I mentioned, it's just so genuine. What makes I'm Drunk I Love You so special compared to other films of its type is the fact that it's so small and it's so real. It's about like these big themes that you see tackled in pretty much every other rom-com: love, friendship, forgiveness. But the way it's told in this movie, like the lens that it's filtered through, is very specific, and it really gets down to knowing these characters who are extremely well conceived as well. Not once while watching this movie did I feel like I was an outsider, kind of, looking into this group of people and just observing them. I felt like I was part of that group. You understand like their in-jokes, you get their chemistry, you get a sense of history between these characters, even if you only really see them in this one time frame. And this group dynamic works obviously because of some incredible chemistry among the stars here. First of all, Maja Salvador is fantastic in this movie. She reminds me of every fun, outgoing friend I've ever had in college, aka everyone who isn't me. But then when she reveals that she has a lot of pain that she's been keeping in over the past 7 years, when that pain comes out, it feels just so tangible. You want to just give her a hug or buy her a beer or something. And Paolo Avellino plays his character Dio pretty interestingly because he also has some baggage on him, but the way he deals with it, like he shrugs it off a bit more than Carson does, and their dynamic, there really is a tangible will they won't they sort of thing there, but it's not cheesy. It feels like, when you have two friends who maybe have a thing but not really, and it just feels real. And then you've got Dominic Rocco, who plays Jason T, who is the best friend of Carson, and he is hilarious in this movie. He's such a scene stealer. He has lots of great like little one-liners. Time check. Like I mentioned, all these characters just feel well realized and they feel complete. They feel like real human beings who could just leap off the screen and sit down there with you. But of course, the main reason why all of this works is JP Habak, the director. He, the way he approaches this material, he comes at it completely restrained and sensitive to the characters. He restrains himself from treating this sort of dilemma that Carson is having as something grand. It's really just a small personal thing that means the world to her, but to regular audience members, it comes across as so small, especially against the backdrop of the fact that they're graduating college after 7 years and they're entering the real world. And what JP Habak does that I find really impressive is the fact that he lingers a lot. He lingers in these small, seemingly inconsequential moments between these characters. And I feel like other directors might not want to show these small moments because they don't, progress plot necessarily, but you just get to inhabit their world a bit more. As a result, the humor comes off funnier, the pain comes off as more real. And this is helped along by the editor, Carlo Francisco Manatad, who never holds on shots too long to the point that they become tedious to watch. He really just allows the characters to breathe and to take charge of the scenes themselves. And of course, as a result, there's a lot of tension in the air, a lot of awkwardness between characters, especially Carson and Dio. It really was something I think anybody can relate to because it's that kind of awkwardness of when you're waiting for someone to say something or do something but they won't do it. And it's just, it captures such a very specific feeling. Everything about this movie is refreshingly quiet and understated. I really appreciated that this didn't become like the Travel Channel or it didn't become a Department of Tourism ad, in the sense that when they go to La Union, you know they're in La Union, but they don't like shove it in your face. They don't have like huge wide shots or drone shots. Instead, it lets you know you're in a different place just through mood and through the culture and the music. And speaking of music, the music here also totally matches the moods that the characters are going through. It goes through the overall vibe of the film, and I like that when certain characters perform in this movie, they're not flawless. In fact, they're pretty average, honestly, but I like that because it just grounded the movie even more. But here's where I get into my negatives for I'm Drunk, I Love You as well. First of all, while the music itself is good, the way it's used in the movie, it doesn't really add anything to the scenes that they're in. The songs don't really flesh out the context of the scenes or the states that the characters are in. It doesn't really challenge our emotions. All the songs really do is reinforce what we're already seeing and hearing on screen. The best example I can come up with is there's a scene where there's a song playing in the background that keeps repeating the words "I'm sorry" or something like that. And then in that scene, one of the characters says out loud that they're sorry. And it was like, you know, we already knew you were sorry because the song was playing it. So it's not really like a huge negative, but it was a missed opportunity to add a bit more depth. And while I really like where Carson and Dio go in this movie, Jason T's arc feels like it wasn't serious. Like they just kind of leave it off somewhere, and I wanted more of a resolution because you end up really loving Jason T. So I wanted him to have, you know, a better arc to him. However, in the end, I'm Drunk, I Love You is a really good movie. I can see this becoming easily a cult favorite. I hope it gets more screenings. If you're in Quezon City, and by the time I publish this on YouTube, hopefully I'll be doing it on time. The Loyola Film Circle at Ateneo is having a screening for I'm Drunk, I Love You today. By the time this comes up, so hopefully I'm not too late. But anyway, I can't wait to see what JP Habak does next, and I hope you guys get to check this out. Alright, so those are my thoughts on I'm Drunk, I Love You. Have you guys seen it? What do you think about it? Whatever you guys think, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.